Hey guys, so we got a video by Gallenberger1 and which Hashira would be the scariest demon. Now I actually remember 2 years ago I was watching this anime YouTuber Inferno J, and I just remember like something going viral in terms of like demon Rengoku versus demon Tengen. Like there were debates like that and stuff. And honestly, I barely see Demon Slayer videos in general, especially compared to like JJK. So honestly, it's pretty cool that he's kind of making a vid on this, honestly. But scariest demon, huh? I don't know.
Which Hashira would be the scariest?
I mean, I guess either Sanemi or Gyome. Maybe Gyome just because, his body's like huge, or Sanemi because of how like, bro, Sanemi's a Hashira. He's a human, but he's already scary, right? Like Sanemi might be like psychopathic or something. He's always bloodlusted. He kind of reminds me of like the battle junkie. He reminds me of like Kashimo from JJK a little bit.
Demon. It's not simply a matter of who's the strongest, but how they intend to kill you and how long it's going to take if you're lucky enough to be granted death at all. We saw how difficult it was to
So then in that case, wouldn't it would probably be Sanemi, just considering how like, crazy and bloodlusted he is.
Deal with the upper ranks and how each required a unique way to be put down. So what happens when the Hashira take their place and get twisted to their worst possible selves? Kyojuro Rengoku. By morphing his philosophy from protecting the weak to deciding the fate of the weak, there's clear reason to fear him. If he sees you as weak, which considering his strength he almost certainly would, then to him you're not capable of protecting yourself, therefore you shouldn't be tasked with making the decision to do so. That choice is now his, and why let you suffer or struggle when he can end that for you? He would view this as a necessity, not an act of evil. As a demon, Rengoku...
Bro, this is interesting. We're actually getting into core philosophies of each Hashira.
...would still be proud, charismatic, and a little silly. Honestly, he'd kind of be like Akaza, except if you turned the honor dial up to 11. He'd be logical and tactical in his decision-making, and despite the big smile he'd be wearing, he could burn you alive in an instant if he decides that's what your fate should be. That's where the contrast between personality and actions wouldn't be fun to witness in person. It could tie into how you defeat him as well. As a protector of the weak, maybe that's his weakness. He reinforces his neck at the front, meaning he can't be challenged head on. He can only be cut down from behind, symbolically where he places the weak. What hurts Rengoku is that I believe he would still be bound by a sense of honor. That's how you can tell this show isn't real. And it is possible he'd deem people worthy of surviving, or at least of being turned into a demon, and the way he would...
So he would basically become Akaza. He would be like, oh, you're worthy of becoming a demon. So Demon Rengoku would have a similar ideology to Akaza. That's actually crazy.
Go about that would likely be among the least terrible options compared to the others. Remember, this isn't a competition of strength, it's how terrifying this person would be.
Yeah, I like how he has to emphasize this just because some people can't read or just don't even, some anime fans are just going to be like, oh, well, Gyome is the strongest Hashira, so he would be, the strongest or scariest demon. But like, this is more about like, I guess the ideology of each Hashira and maybe their abilities, potentially.
Based on my subjective criteria.
But it's pretty much Sanemi. Like, we all know it's Sanemi. Let's be honest.
Between his misguided righteousness and his personality still making him one of the least unlikable options, I think there's less to fear here than with the others. Rengoku, at least in comparison to his peers, seems the most palatable. Giyu Tomioka. Giyu is an interesting case, because there are a lot of things to fear.
I don't feel worthy, so who cares what's right? Ooh, okay.
Here. He's quiet, he acts efficiently and without hesitation. Oh, and he doesn't care what's right anymore. That's not enticing to me. This would be someone who feels nothing and yet commits atrocities anyway. Instead of the quiet compassion he showed in the series being saving others, maybe as a demon, that expression of compassion becomes putting others down swiftly. And if he decided that life itself isn't worth preserving, that doesn't leave much wiggle room for debate, right? There's not much to appeal to with someone like him who's as detached as they come. Then there's how you'd have to put him down, which would be extremely difficult. I'd imagine his demon form would allow him to turn himself into water, making beheading him significantly more challenging.
Yeah, that would be insane. If that's actually possible. I don't think we've ever seen any type of like One Piece Logia type of things in Demon Slayer, though. I don't know if he would truly just be able to turn himself into like water purely, like some type of Logia thing. Yeah, I just don't think we've seen that in Demon Slayer. I mean, he could remove his head, obviously, because Rui has done that. Akaza, I think, did it. Kokoshibo might have done it. Yeah, he could do that, but I don't think he would be able to honestly just turn into water.
You'd have to find a way to contain him before you could actually kill him. With that said, his detachment could also work in your favor. Yes, he has a strong sense of duty and justice as a Hashira, but I'm not sure how that'd translate as a demon because of his detachment. I could see it being a case where he simply doesn't...
Yeah, that's fair. The thing is, Gyu just kind of seems a bit depressed and he doesn't care about too much. It's kind of hard to get a read on him.
Care enough to kill you unless you give him one. It might not be super likely, but there's definitely a better chance of that than Embiid winning a title. And of everyone left on this list, I'll take my chances trying to not piss him off versus someone else. Muichiro Tokito. This version of Muichiro would be the perfect killing machine. There's no emotion, passion, or attachment to anything. Someone whose memory loss has made everything feel meaningless, or in other words, disposable.
Oh, yeah, true. I like how he's tying in the memory loss thing, yeah. Tokito really could become some type of like nihilistic demon, kind of a bit similar to Gyu, maybe just about, not caring about anything.
Your life wouldn't matter to him. You could be standing in front of him, begging, fighting, running, and if you happen to be in his way, you're gone. Everything that makes Gyu scary, Muichiro has.
He's not even gonna, like, I'm not even trying to say that demons in general feel remorse, but I'm just saying Tokito as a demon specifically will literally just have a 0% chance of feeling remorse after killing you because he's gonna forget. He's still kind of the mist guy. He literally has like memory loss and stuff. He literally won't feel remorse or feel guilty because he's not going to remember that he killed you.
And more, because he's also way more of a dick. Can you imagine him hunting you down? This demon stalking you from the mist, one who's a prodigy, and if you're lucky...
Yeah, Tokito could be strong as a demon, especially with, mist powers. Like, it's pretty overpowered.
Enough to get a word out of him, it's just going to be elite trash talk, demoralizing you more. I don't like that one bit. Because you probably wouldn't even be able to see him, you'd be playing right into his hands too, fighting air because that's where he wants you to believe he is. There's a mental toll to that futility. This would probably...
Poor Gyoko, man. Yeah, Gyoko wasn't necessarily weak, but yeah, I mean, Mist is just kind of overpowered. Even demons can't see through it.
Probably play into how you kill him too. Like Gyu making his body water, it makes sense that the Mist Hashira would be able to do something similar. And we all know how dark the Mist is, so to kill him, you'd have to time everything perfectly to make sure you're actually hitting something solid. Your one saving grace might be, why should I care, and that he's not feeling it at that moment, but it could also be as simple as, hey, you're in my way, and the next thing you know, you're split in half because that'd take no effort at all. Sanemi Shinazugawa.
Yeah, he's the scariest demon. I mean, if he's already the scariest human, if he's already the scariest Hashira, and look, bro's literally covered in scars, then he has to kind of be the scariest demon, right?
Sanemi might be the scariest Hashira, but that also means he likely changes the least as a demon. His ruthlessness is absolutely not something I'd want to deal with, but that's already the case as is. He doesn't need to be a demon for that. Also, because there is no chance I survive any encounter with him, there's a 100% chance he kills me on sight, it's ironically less scary because there's no time to doubt or dread what's to come. Honestly, he'd be more interesting than anything else because his turn would make his issues existential.
Damn.
He would become the thing
a whole rain of blood
he hates most. Like with Akaza, we saw how deeply his self-loathing was ingrained in his demon form even without his human memories. As a Hashira, Sanemi used his hatred as fuel. His self-loathing would turn outward and be funneled into even more destruction now as a demon. I think this would likely make him like Akaza in terms of trying to kill him too. I could see him being capable of regenerating his head, and simple beheadings not not working, meaning the only way to take him out would be sunlight, only adding more inevitability to your death. He'd be the monster he always hated, so why not act like it? The only thing that'd be left for him to do would be cause extreme violence. Nothing you say or do can change that. So really what this comes down to is how—
Yeah, you're not gonna break Sonami's ideology. Sonami is Sonami. He's gonna do what he wants.
how you value the certainty of death versus the mental anguish of something more drawn out or having a fate worse than death. While that certainty isn't ideal, the other two could be worse. Obanai Iguro.
I will hold others to impossible standards to prove their existence is worth it. Okay.
Obanai's failures make him obsessed with perfection and purity, which results in holding himself to impossible standards. Combine that with his trademark cold demeanor, and we already think he's scary as a Hashira. As a demon, his self-loathing can seep out.
Yeah, bro, like Sonami and Iguro are both cold, but Iguro right here, he's cold in kind of just a different way. In more of like this weird detached way. I don't know how to explain it. It's like there's so many cold Hashira. It's actually crazy. Like, these are the guys who are meant to protect you from demons, but Giyu is cold, Obanai is cold, Sonami's cold. Sonami's just cold in the obvious way, you know, like he's literally kind of crazy. Giyu is more like a depressed cold. He keeps everybody distant. But him, like, he doesn't have like the depression that Giyu has. I don't want to say he has narcissism, but he seems to have confidence in himself. He's a lot more of like a perfectionist, I guess.
Outward, and he can instead hold others to impossible standards. In his own twisted way, he would want to fix the world in the way he sees fit. The world, people, and in this case humans, are all flawed. So he will administer harsh judgment to those he deems impure. In other words, if you don't meet his standards, you're dead. And something tells me—
Bro, Demon Obanai would make a more interesting villain than Muzan, just based on that ideology alone. I get it, Muzan wanted to become a perfect being, conquer the sun, live forever, and be unchanging, but if Muzan had like a Demon Iguro's ideology of, oh, we need to make everybody in the world perfect, or, you know, or I'm trying to make my own perfect world or whatever, that would just be more interesting than Muzan trying to, you know, just be immortal.
I'm not meeting them. So it's again very much like Sonami. I'm dying virtually no matter what. Though based on his history, maybe if you have two things I don't, you could survive.
Lord.
For the rest of us, there's no reasoning with him or appealing to him emotionally. It's a done deal. Also, I don't like snakes, like, at all. And I imagine as a demon, he'd have plenty of them. And that could—
Oh, shoot. That's true. He already... I wonder what he would be able to like do with his snake in demon form. Would he really have like thousands of snakes, or could he just spawn them randomly, or would the one snake that he already has in his Hashira form just become like huge, like a Rochi size from Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Y'all remember when Megumi fought Sukuna in like what, episode 5 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and Megumi summoned that big snake Orochi? I'm thinking if Obanai was a demon, the snake could maybe become that big, or just bigger to some extent.
mean you have to kill them all to kill him, or kill the right one to kill him, and I just don't want any part of it. If you want to push it further, you could tie his worldview to his connection with Mitsuri as well. He will create a perfect world enough to be worthy of her, and impurity, weakness, and
So bro's just gonna be a simp like Obito.
imperfection will all be culled. This is where the choices get really slim. Mitsuri Kanroji. You might be asking yourself, how the hell is the least intimidating Hashira not the least intimidating demon? There's a simple reason for that. Her philosophy as a demon would be creepy as hell. Seriously, think about it.
So she would be like kind of like a yandere. She would be like this controlling type of love.
Flip her desire for husband on its head, and what do you get? Affection and attachment become possession and control. A demon who obsesses over making you hers, regardless of what you want. Once she has—
Wait, so bro, some freaks might be into that though, low key, bro. Because here's the thing: if you're saying that Mitsuri wouldn't actually want to kill humans, but she would just want to like reproduce with them, if that's even possible, then come on, you know there's some freaks out there, bro.
You belong to her, and she'll never let you go, all with a smile on her face. You know something men truly fear? A crazy chick who is obsessed with you. That's what she becomes. Her flexible sword? Now that's a demonic power she uses to grab hold of you and keep you with her forever. This could mean you'd be kept as a human slave, turned into a demon to be with her for eternity, or that you'd be killed because she doesn't love you or you tried rejecting her. Unlike those before her, no matter what happens, it's going to be.
I wonder if this all was true. Would Mitsuri just like be obsessed with a guy as a human, or would she genuinely want to turn him into a demon so that I guess he can live forever?
Drawn out. The Mitsuri we know is someone who was easily flustered. That doesn't actually benefit us here. This might translate to someone who grows attached to others quickly, and if they don't return her affection or try to escape, maybe she tortures you into submitting to her. It might make her easy to set up.
That would actually make her scary. But if Demon Mitsuri is just trying to like, just trying to be intimate with you and stuff, then, people... Bro, most Demon Slayer fans would probably enjoy that. Let's just be honest, man. People would not find that scary. But if she does, like, torture you, or she is actually just doing something evil, then yeah, she could maybe be, like, the second scariest.
And who knows, maybe her interest would only be fleeting anyway. You'd think you're safe, then the next thing you know, she's bored of you. And for someone with her appetite, that probably means getting devoured.
Who's next? It's gotta be Gyome, right? We've gone over... I don't think we've gone over Gyome yet. And maybe there's one other Hashira. We went over Tokito. I think we went over Shinobu. We went over Gyu. We went over Sanemi already. We went over Obanai. Yeah, I think Gyome's
Not
last.
ideal, even for someone who looks like her. Killing her would likely be extremely difficult too. You may need to sever more than her, but every attachment she has, which would be numerous. There's a lot of ways any encounter with her could go really wrong.
Wait, maybe we didn't go over Shinobu. Wait, so we're missing Tengen, Shinobu, and Gyome, I think.
There's also a minute chance it goes really right. That puts her in her own category, where there is a sliver of hope that things turn out okay. It's that meme from the League, and I'll take that over what's left. Tengen Uzui.
Living a meaningless life is worse than death. Living a human life is worse than death.
Tengen is an interesting one, because on one hand, you'd be dealing with an absolute maniac, someone who'd refer to themselves as the demon god of festivals or demon god of flash, someone who sees violence as a spectacle and turns destruction into a performance for him.
Ooh, that could actually be, yeah, Tengen could be really sadistic when you think about it in that way, right? And he's spitting here, because Tengen is obsessed with flashiness and, being flamboyant or whatever. And honestly, if he's demonic and he, just becomes more like psychopathic, he might make like humans fight each other for spectacles. It might be like those old Roman, there was some like old Roman coliseums where people literally just, watch two people fight. Yeah, it would be pretty effed up, man.
Is viewing pleasure. You aren't just going to die, you're going to die spectacularly, especially since you're a human. There's also the fact that he was trained as a shinobi. He was built to excel at murder and grew up in a clan that encouraged it. Someone who can be cold, calculating, and with his tremendous speed and stealth, you'd never see him coming. A monster with the determination to stop their own heart to slow down poison as a human. So as a demon, that only gets more terrifying. Now that person thinks they're a god. I think I'll pass. And if you want to take the absolute worst case scenario, he has 3 seductive partners to lure you in too.
Oh, come on. That would actually be crazy, man. Oh, man. Adding that to the mix is insane. Yeah. That would be effed up. Just
you might not even have to cross his path.
Literally getting women just to lure you to Tengen so Tengen can just kill you, bro.
Just one of his wives. If you take that a step further like Yutaro, perhaps you'd have to behead all of them at the same time to defeat him. You could make the argument that maybe if you're interesting enough, you have a chance at survival, but I don't know how strong a case there really is for that. Even if you are, that just might mean he's going to make you part of his show of violence, and that might be torture to the highest degree. Plus, we know for sure, if you aren't worth his time, you're dead. Shinobu Kocho. On the surface, by far the smallest and physically weakest Hashira might not come to mind when it comes to being the scariest as a demon, but really think about it. In her very first appearance, she teased exactly how sadistic she could be when she wanted the spider demon to feel the pain of...
I wouldn't even... It was a little bit... I feel like it's not really sadistic because Shinobu knows that this demon ate like a bunch of humans and stuff. But I guess she did suffer. I mean, all Shinobu can use to defeat demons is poison. So yes, she did kind of suffer, and Shinobu was happy that, you know, she was slowly getting poisoned. Like, this demon, she did die slowly, like, due to the poison. But I don't really want to say that Shinobu's sadistic because, again, Shinobu recognized that this demon was evil, had, you know, trapped 28 humans in cocoons. And Shinobu had seen the cocoons when she was on her way here, etc.
Every person they'd ever killed. Now imagine being a random bystander and not being given an option because now she'd be the villain. This is someone who would be working with clinical precision and biologically manipulating you into a very slow, very...
People still say that Shinobu is the weakest Hashira after she did this to Doma. Hold up.
Given an option because now...
She literally stabbed Doma's eye, and people... I forgot this even happened, bro. I watched Infinity Cast, but I forgot this part even happened. That's insane. Like, yes, Shinobu is physically the weakest Hashira, but if we're talking about overall strength, it's not even close. Like, people downplay Shinobu and keep saying she's the weakest Hashira outside of physicality, which is insane because the speed to keep up with Doma is insane. Tengen Uzui literally would have died in like 10 seconds here. Rengoku would have died in 10 seconds here. Who else, bruh? Mitsuri probably would have died in like 20 seconds, bro. Like, y'all don't get it, man.
Oh, she'd be the villain. This is someone who would be working with clinical precision and biologically manipulating you into a very slow, very painful death, all the while wearing an unsettling smile on her face.
Like, this is how the overall Hashira ranking goes. Gyome is the strongest. Sanemi and Gyu are tied for second place because I believe they were stated to be equal based on some type of training or something. And then third place, sadly, is Obanai. If you think Obanai might be stronger than Gyu, okay, maybe you can, you know, swap them. Fourth place is probably... Fourth strongest Hashira is probably either like... I'm trying to think. It's either Muichiro Tokito or Shinobu, honestly. Because Shinobu was keeping up with Doma, but Tokito, he's also pretty strong.
Face, which she'd use to show the immense pleasure she gets from torturing you. That smile early on...
But yeah, Rengoku and Tengen are like arguably the weakest Hashiras.
...would be something she could use to lure you in.
And I would say Mitsuri is probably third weakest. I have Shinobu above Mitsuri.
2. Use her small stature and kind smile to lull you into...
Doma literally said that Shinobu was the fastest Hashira that he's ever met.
...to a false sense of security.
And Doma is Upper Moon too. Don't forget that.
Then the next thing you know, you're an experiment in how far the bounds of pain can be pushed. Her expertise with poison and the fact that she harbors so much rage is terrifying. As the insect demon, she'd probably be full of poison, meaning cutting her would actually put you in potentially even more danger.
Ooh, yeah, that could be lethal.
I think you'd have to take her out from a distance, which obviously is an insane ask.
Yeah, because how are you going to cut her with the Nichiren blade from a distance? That's not even gonna work. I guess just be careful and be wary of her blood since it'll be poisonous.
So yeah, her spot here is earned. I cannot stress enough, Shinobu could absolutely give you a fate worse than death. She doesn't need power to overwhelm you, just one poke of her blade, and you'll wish you were dead because it'd be easier than what comes next. And once your days as a test subject are over, you'll welcome death with open arms. Gyome Himejima.
Like suffering is necessary to give life meaning.
On the surface, you might not think someone like Guillaume, who is often seen crying, would have the scariest personality. Or maybe you're just terrified of his strength, in which case, you're on the right track, but it actually gets worse. His new philosophy, believing suffering is necessary for living, isn't just delusional, it means this is someone who is not going to deal with you quickly. Why would he? That would go against the point.
Oh, shit. Wait, so he's literally gonna torture you?
He's trying to make. It's essentially the philosophy of a religious fanatic, and those people freak me out. You know, it's someone who sees suffering as necessary and uses that to justify horrible things reminds me of? Jigsaw from the Saw movies, a maniac who believes they are doing good by putting you in pain as some sort of misguided attempt to save you or give your life meaning.
What the hell?
That's not ideal. Oh, and there's nothing I can do about any of this because he's the most powerful Hashira, so it makes sense he'd also be the most powerful demon. You would be in...
And he's gonna be scary as heck. He's probably gonna be as big as Sukuna. Guillaume's build is already, like, big, bro. He's probably gonna be, like, 7 feet tall, just like, Sukuna with his, true form, his Heian era form, bro.
Entirely at his warped version of mercy. Even if you could fight back as the stone demon, I imagine the only way to kill him would...
He'd probably be morally worse than Sukuna because Sukuna doesn't even torture people. Like, Sukuna doesn't care if you suffer, but Sukuna will, like, just instantly kill you. If Guillaume is saying that suffering is what gives you purpose and meaning, then I'm assuming he's literally just going to torture you for, like, quite a while, bro.
From some sort of internal attack as opposed to the regular beheading, which would also be symbolic for his philosophy and make him far more difficult to take down. This really is a moral dilemma. On the plus side, my odds of survival are probably higher here than most. On the downside, I'll probably wish I was dead. I'm not coming out of this the same. That's the list. What's yours?
Dear Lord. Oh, okay, so this is the ranking. Okay, my ranking, honestly, it's interchangeable, but top 3 is Guillaume, Sanemi, and Uzui. Just because I'm thinking about Uzui's flamboyant personality, and he really might just enjoy watching, like, he might do some crazy demonic stuff, like having humans hunt each other and stuff. Since in his demon form, he's going to be sadistic and, he's just obsessed with flamboyancy and, performing and putting on a show. Like, he really could be psychopathic as a demon. So, yeah, really interchangeable. Top 3, Guillaume, Tengen, and, yeah, Sanemi. Sanemi is self-explanatory. He's always kind of been crazy. Mitsuri is an honorable mention. It really depends on what she wants to do with you, but if she really does, like, torture you and kind of turn you into, like, just a slave of desire and stuff, then it could get into some creepy territory for sure. But yeah, that's my ranking pretty much.